Hi, Phil Hundle here. Wanted to give just a real brief summary of when you, the landowner, get a final offer packet that's going to have an appraisal in it. What should you be looking at in the appraisal to help your attorney that is representing you in that particular condemnation proceeding, eminent domain proceeding? And this, what I have is an example of an appraisal from a very old pipeline case, but it gives us a good example of some of the things that you should look for. Number one, this is from an appraisal company, AWS. They're still around. They still do appraisals. There's probably a half dozen to a dozen appraisal firms, some statewide, regional or national firms that do appraisals for condemnors in Texas. And so you'll see some of the same names over and over. Your lawyer will be familiar with these different appraisal companies. So first off, you as a landowner, what should you be looking at? Looking at your property description. Does this properly or accurately describe your property? If you think that there's 54 acres involved, or you think there's 100 acres involved and it only says 54, then that's a question mark. You need to bring that up to your attorney. Let's go further through this. The date of the appraisal will also be important. When the appraiser went out to the property, verify and confirm this, and if that's correct, and then the effective date of the appraisal. These will oftentimes get updated when the case is set and goes to a special commissioner's hearing. So also, it's important. We're going to talk about highest and best use, but they will reference what the current use is and then their highest and best use, and we'll talk about that in a second. So let's roll through this. Normally the first page or two that they will have their opinion as to the total compensation they believe that the landowner should be entitled to. And in the appraisal, they'll talk about their scope of work. Definitely read the whole appraisal, but these are some areas that I'd say pay closer attention to. And if there's something that you don't understand in their explanation of the scope of work, ask your attorney. Let's also go through some of the extraordinary assumptions or hypothetical conditions. These are things that maybe there's some unique characteristic to the property that they are going to assume, or things that they don't know that they're going to assume are true or not true, possibly about zoning or different ordinances. Once again, let's go through the when they're describing the property. We want any appraiser, we want them to properly appraise the right tract of land, obviously, but also the appropriate or correct characteristics of that tract of land. So we want to make sure that they get the acreages right, the access, whether it is or it does not have public road frontage. All things are important. Floodplain important. Are they correct in their evaluation of the floodplain? Utilities available or not? And then the zoning, very important. Is it in a city, outside of the city, in the ETJ of a city? Those are all very important. Another huge thing is existing easements. This is very important. And have they evaluated all the possible encroachments or existing easements on the property, and then improvements that may or may not be affected by the project or condemnation project. And this now I want to go to the part where I really want you, the landowner, to understand the highest and best use analysis. And there's several elements that go into highest and best use. Sometimes appraisers will want to say that the highest and best use is its current use. And by its very definition, that doesn't mean that just because the land is maybe being used right now for agricultural use, for hay production, but it's on I-10, major, obviously interstate in Texas, that its highest and best use would actually be probably commercial or residential or mixed use and not agricultural, even though it's agricultural currently, because landowner wants to have it valued as an ag value, lower taxes. And so what we really want to look at is this highest and best use analysis. We've talked about highest and best use, and what is legally permissible, financially permissible, maximally productive use of the property. That goes into the highest and best use analysis that's stated here. Normally the appraisals will actually even further lay out highest and best use. In this particular situation, they say that the highest and best use of this property is agricultural, recreational purposes, or rural residential uses. So, there's some range in there of what the possible or highest and best use they believe is, but at the end of the day, agricultural, recreational, or rural residential use. So please pay close attention to what the Condemnors Appraiser is saying the highest and best use is. Another thing that I really want you, the landowner, to pay attention to in these appraisals are the comparable sales that are being used. And you'll see that here, for example, here are the comparable sales that are being listed. There'll be anywhere between 5 and 8 comparable sales that will be used. Then there's an adjustment grid. I want you, the landowner, to really understand what the adjustment grid is. The adjustment grid, the appraiser will take several characteristics of the I say the land, but of the sale, and he'll create these characteristics. Here we've got conditions of sale, market conditions, location, size, physical characteristics. Other adjustments is kind of the catch-all, which I always have a lot of questions about, this kind of other adjustments. But these appraisers can do an appraisal that is qualitative, which is what we see here, just saying it's more or less the same, comparable, or superior, or inferior. These are qualitative adjustments. You will also see in TxDOT appraisals qualitative adjustments being percentages up and down, positive and negative. And this is where the appraiser will take these comparable sales. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 comparable sales, and that appraiser subjectively will run these adjustments out, once again subjectively in the appraiser's opinion, whether your property, how it compares with these how does your property, the subject property, compare to these comparable sales, these other 8 sales in the area, on all these different factors. And then there's this reconciliation, and the appraiser will say, based upon all these comparable sales and my adjustments, I believe that your property is worth so much. For example, here, $2,200 an acre. This is a very old appraisal from more than 10 years ago. And what does that mean? Your value per your whole property. That's the analysis. Also, let's go through this further through this appraisal. We always want to look at how much the appraiser values or burdens, what percentage, I always call it burdensomeness, but the burden, how much of an burden will this easement be on the subject property. And this appraiser says 90%. You will see anywhere from 70 to 95%, sometimes 99%. So that's a point that you must take a look at. And then we want to look at, you'll have a component of cost to cure. There will be an amount sometimes, and sometimes in this situation, none. And then we also want to look at, there will be a calculation for the temporary workspace, and that will normally be whatever the price is per acre times a rental rate percentage for a certain term, 1 to 2 years. Now, there'll be a summary of the compensation. I want you to pay attention to the damage to the remainder, and that's important. And you will oftentimes, many times, see 0% damage to the remainder, and that's a calculation that the calculation of damages, damage to the remainder before and after, and the appraiser said 0 damages. Do not be surprised if you see a percent damage to the remainder by the appraiser for the condemnor to be 0. And we can talk a lot more about that analysis and how and why appraisers would reach the conclusion of 0% or 5 or 10 or even greater. So with that, I hope that is helpful. Other attachments to these, you'll see photos. Normally the appraiser will attach the petition or the form easement document that they've been provided or not provided, and depending on when it's been provided. So hopefully that for those of you that are receiving the final offers or have or will, that this explanation of the appraisal was helpful, but more importantly, for you to review it and then discuss it with your attorney, and if you're aware of other comparable sales out there in the area, by all means, your lawyer wants to know about those, needs to know about those, so let him know about those, and that will help in your analysis and valuation of your own property, which is something you can do as a property owner. Once again, hopefully this is helpful. Good luck.